What's going on, YouTube? This video gonna be about Vernon Reid, the guitarist and the leader of the rock band Living Color, and his musical influences. And I'm gonna just name them, then I'll come back about it. Vernon Reid mentioned Miles Davis, James Brown, Jimi Hendrix, John Coltrane, Jeff Beck, Carlos Santana, Eddie Hazel, The Temptations, and John McLaughlin. And you can hear all those different guitars. If you're familiar with John McLaughlin, you know what he did with Miles Davis. You know his solos. You know his biting rhythms and cadences. The Temptations for the structural is interesting. But Corey Glover, the vocalist, the lead singer of Living Color, you can definitely hear a nod, which Steve Perry could relate to 60s soul and R&B. James Brown with the structure and the groove. They had grooves in some of their songs. If you listen to the rhythm and the cadence, they definitely paid a nod to James Brown. Obviously, Jeff Beck was a very rhythmic player. You know the story about Superstition, which originally he was going to be given from Stevie Wonder to him, but Stevie kept it for himself. But you could hear his guitar tones and how he infiltrated with the drums, so you can't miss that. Then we get to Carlos Santana and the mysticism and the vibes and the tones, so you can hear that. Eddie Hazel, one of the greatest guitarists, especially for a brother that was soloing like he did on Maggot Brain, and he hasn't always gotten his due. You should check him out if you haven't. He was the late great Eddie Hazel. What he did for P Funk and the early Funkadelic was the truth back then. Jimi Hendrix, no need to explain. The guy that's still the standard for guitar players, the tone, the feel, the vibe. Every guitarist that comes out after him is in depth to him because he did all that with his brain and his creativity and his imagination. They got Guitar Pedals, Guitar Central, and they got 99 Ways and Guitar Hero. That man did that with his own two hands and his brain and imagination. Mind blowing. Coltrane, the power surge and the muscular tone with the tenor saxophone, you can definitely hear that and the way the guitar parts and certain harmonic parts are. Miles Davis, the structuring of the instrumentalists and different parts, that is the one of the greatness that Miles did as far as bringing great instrumentalists and great talent and assembling them, and then the spacing, and then to have the musicality and the versatility and the offshoots of it. So you can hear all that. So when I hear his influences and I watch what he did, I could definitely see where he got a lot of his influences from, and it tends to make sense for me. Living Color was one of my favorite bands in the late 80s, early 90s. Type was one of my songs. Elvis is Dead. Um, Glamour Boys was cut. I watched them live. I watched them. They bought their music, and they were as great as anything that was going for rock. But maybe because you know how color struck the industry is, MTV, etc. To me, they could definitely hang with Guns N' Roses. They could hang with Metallica. They could hang with Megadeth. They could hang with all that grunge sound that came out. They really could, because they were late 80s, early 90s, and they were dealing with the hair bands, the no hair bands, and in between hair bands, but they still had a sonic boom and a vibe that was uncanny, that was them. And Corey Glover's vocals were strong. This is one of the baddest bands that should be Hall of Fame bound, that left an impact, an impression. Vernon Reid's solos were no joke. He was bringing it on those records. Really had a distinctive cult of personality was the cut. Think about it, they sampled that and put that in perspective. That was a strong rock jam groove. And it did get played on Video Vibrations on BT. They played everywhere. So I got a long line and memories of Living Color and a lot of great feelings and great vibes and stories to share and thoughts. So anyway, let me know what you think about Vernon Reed's musical influences. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share if you like and hit that membership, because when you do requests like this come true, stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm on peace.